has soul. A lot of supporters every supporter moans about the football club, and this is happening. Whatever, this club has character, it has history, it has soul.
Oi oi, and welcome to the Orient Outlook podcast, sponsored by Carlisle Florist, with myself, Steve Nussbaum, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, South Stand chum, the bearded legend, the one and only, the daddy-o. It's Mr. Paul Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is episode number 316, and as always, a very quick thank you to everyone who tuned into last week's show, and also to our very special guest, our new mate, Paul Smith.
Our mate.
Who was absolutely brilliant, very honest, very open, and it was a pleasure to have him on, and very positive as well. This week, we've got a week's worth of news to catch up on. We've got the win against Carlisle to review, so I think without further ado, let's just crack on, and as always, we start with a word from our sponsor.
We certainly do. So the podcast is proudly sponsored by Carlisle Florist, who are an established business based in Chingford. They specialise in bespoke flowers, sourced from the finest growers in the world, and can do anything from a simple thank you to tailored wedding or event packages. They also offer 15% off to all O's fans and staff, which could give you a huge saving on any costs that you have coming up for flowers. So to get in touch with John and their fantastic team of experienced florists, you can give them a call on 0208 529 4130, or you can get in contact with the team on Twitter. They can find them at Carol Langley E4, or you can find John, head honcho himself. He can be found at Essex Biz on Twitter. You can also find the team on Instagram under Carol Langley Florist, and you can also find the team on Facebook at Carol Langley Florist. John, it was lovely to see you in the South Stand yesterday in all your glory, and great to have you on board as always at the Orient Outlook podcast.
Absolutely, nicely done. So we have a supporters club update for you as well. On Friday the 7th of April, we're off to Salford for a 3 o'clock kickoff. Coaches are going to be leaving at 8:30, and they're going to cost £42 if you're an adult. Concessions are £39, and children under 15 are £21. The following Saturday, the 15th of April, we're just off to a short trip round the outskirts of London to Sutton. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff there. Coaches will be leaving at midday. The adult fare is £25 for that one. Concessions are £22, and children under 15 are £13. All children must travel with an adult, and those prices obviously do not include your match day ticket. To book on any of those trips, you've got to visit the supporters club on a match day, or you can call the travel line on 07507 539 579.
Nicely done there. So lots of work at the supporters club. We've got a few pieces of AOB this week. First up, we had a message from Aaron Hurley regarding the sad passing of his uncle Stephen Johnson. So he messaged us to say Stephen Johnson was a lifelong O's fan who was sadly taken from us in a violent attack in Aberdeen. Stephen moved to Scotland to be with his children, but still wore his O's shirt with pride whilst out in Aberdeen. Stephen was a South Stand season ticket holder for many years and watched Orient with his now past dad, his brothers, his nephews and sister, who are all Orient fans, and leaves behind 7 children who all support the O's. Aaron goes on to say, GoFundMe page has been set up for Stephen, which can be found on the GoFundMe website. If anyone wants details of that, feel free to drop us a DM. But very sad news there, so wishing you all the best, Aaron, and sending our condolences to Stephen's family and friends.
Absolutely, yeah. Having pulled out of last year's event due to a foot injury, Lee Deering is now able to fulfil one of his bucket list items and run the London Marathon, with all the money raised going to the JE3 Foundation, with sponsorship details pinned on his Twitter page, which is at Gorillas1985, GORILAZ1985, and it's also in yesterday's programme. So if you've got a couple of quid spare and you're able to sponsor and support Lee, he's running for a really, really good charity, a really worthwhile charity, who are doing amazing things to help save lives. Go give him a follow. If you can spare a couple of quid, he'd be ever so grateful. That's Gorillas1985. He's running the London Marathon. I couldn't think of anything I'd want to do less than run 26 miles. So anyone that does do it has my utmost respect. So Lee, thanks for the reminder, mate. I'll get onto that as well.
Yeah, likewise. And finally, AOB, the podcast will be running next season, and we have plenty of opportunities for sponsorship throughout the campaign. So if you're a listener, if you follow us on Twitter, if you like what we do, please come and get involved with the podcast. Our opportunities around the Prediction League. This is pre every Leyton Orient game for the season. There's opportunities around Hero of the Week, which we do every week and announce on this podcast, and we do that via Twitter poll. And there's also opportunities around our social media sponsorship. So lots of opportunities for you to get involved. So if anyone's sitting at home listening to this thinking, yeah, I've got a brand, I've got an opportunity to work with your South Stand chums, please get in contact, drop us a DM, and we'll take it from there. We've had lots of great partnerships over the years of this podcast, and look forward to getting a few more new opportunities next season.
Yeah, always keen to help Orient fans promote their businesses, and we've got a brilliant audience for it. So it's worked really well for our past sponsors as well. So do get involved, get in touch with us. So let's move on then to the week that was. We start as always. Happy Monday, the 27th of March, as episode 315 with our mate Paul Smith was blowing up the airwaves. The club announced the individual matchday prices for the 23-24 season, and with the current difficult climate in which all businesses operate in, the club has made the difficult decision to raise prices for next season, was the quote in the press release, but strongly believes the new prices offer excellent value for money. The club has worked to improve the matchday experience throughout 22-23 season and improving food and beverage offerings around the stadium, introducing complimentary fan Wi-Fi and running activities for young O's fans in our Quality Community North Stand. Improvements will continue to be made to the matchday experience for the 23-24 season, with news on exciting developments and additions being released soon.
Yeah, good quote there. Very exciting for next season. We obviously mentioned season ticket prices in last week's episode and the early bird opportunity, which is well worth doing if you're lucky enough to do so. So that was Monday. To who a Tuesday, the 28th of March. We say happy birthday to female development officer and O's player Olivia Worsfold. So Olivia, we hope you had a lovely day and had a lovely birthday.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to you. Wednesday the 29th of March, quiet day at the club. Thankfully, nothing to report.
Flying through this one. Yeah. Thursday the 30th of March, the club revealed that the March Player of the Month nominations were now open, with every player that started at least one of the 3 fixtures played in the month being nominated. So only 3 fixtures in March. Crazy, really.
Yeah, one got postponed. So yeah, absolutely. Friday the 31st of March, then the final day of the month, a quiet day at the club, but there was a League Two fixture we had our eyes on as playoff chasers Stockport County and Salford thankfully played out a 1-1 draw.
Good result for us.
Yeah. Well, doesn't really matter.
No,
in my opinion.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I'm not looking that far down the table.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, it sounds really arrogant to say that, but yeah, I think I'll say it in my comments later. Like, we just need to focus on us. We're top. Doesn't really matter what everyone else does as long as we do what we need to do.
1,000,000%.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Love it. So let's move on into Saturday, the 1st of April, flying through the week that was this week. Jaden Sweeney was named as the O's Player of the Month for March. So well done, Jaden Sweeney. What a season he's had.
Richly deserved, I think. He's been standout. Really, really strong, athletic, fast, reads the game well. Well deserved.
Yeah, and you've got to think players now like Shadogi, Adam Thompson, who plays right back, but obviously that moves Tom James into a left back or Rob Hunt into left back. You know, some good experienced players who can't get in the squad, let alone the starting 11, due to the form of Jaden Sweeney. And to be honest, I didn't see that one coming.
No, and we seem to have, as you think about it, we seem to have a bit of an eye for spotting left-footed talent. You know, like you said, with Jaden's come through the youth, Dan Happy's come through the youth. Shadogi, we've got into our youth development. We obviously brought him across from Ireland, so you know we seem to have a real keen eye for young left-footed players at the start of their career. So
good point.
Yeah, decent. And left-footed players are obviously much harder to find than right-footed players. So the fact that we've got 3 really good quality ones really is impressive. Also on Saturday in the morning, lunchtime more so, the youth team were in action. And they were against Bristol Rovers. The first half ended goalless, but 8 minutes into the second half, Avgostidis put us in the lead after a great ball from Karoma saw him through on goal. He took the ball round the keeper, poked it home to make it 1-0. These reports are from, to be honest, I've just copied them from, full transparency, from the Academy Twitter account, as is the next piece of...
Right.
As is the next piece of this match.
So taken from their Twitter account, and in the 75th minute, we doubled our lead, following a great press to win the ball back high up the pitch. The ball was played out to Karoma, who sits one down with a fake shot and then buried his effort into the bottom right corner, and he made it 2-0. At that point, it looked like the O's would get the victory, but Bristol Rovers pulled 2 goals back. The second came right at the end of added time as the game ended 2-2. So unlucky there to the Young O's, but not a bad result there at all.
No, nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, obviously they're in a slightly higher league to us, but I don't know about the quality there. But why are we playing Bristol Rovers? Like all the way over on the other, like when there's so many other clubs. I know it's probably by category, maybe it's by club, I don't know. Anyway,
exactly what it is, yeah.
Main event of the day was Carlisle United at home, and every Thursday night we run a Twitter poll to find out how you think the O's should get on. It runs through till about midday on Saturday, and on this one, really impressive amount of people got involved in this, so thank you. 397 votes. I think that's probably the most we've had that I can certainly remember.
In a while, yeah.
Anyway, 15% was quite cynical, thinking we were going to lose. 32% sat on the fence thinking a draw, which was probably about the right result. I thought it would be a draw, and 52% were really optimistic, thinking we were going to get a win. Some silly 4-0s and all that nonsense. Can't be having that. So thanks to everyone who took a minute to cast their vote.
Yeah, absolutely. So at 2 p.m, the team was announced with Lawrence Vigouroux in goal, and at the back, Hunt, Beckles, Turns and Sweeney. Midfield made up of El Mazzuni, Pratley and Moncur, with Sadlier, Smith and Coleman making up the 11. And on the bench we had Sam Sargent, Tom James, Jamie McCart, Jordan Leyton, Jordan Brown, Ralph Sotiriou and Aaron Drinan.
Yeah, that meant there were 3 changes from the O's team that drove Hartlepool last week. In came Kieran Sadlier, Rob Hunt and Charlie Kelman. And out went Aaron Drinan, Jordan Brown and Ruel Sotiriou, who took their place on the bench. For me, not surprised there's been change. I think a freshen up was needed. Yeah. I just predicted it wrong. I thought that others would be changed, but I hope Sadlier and Smith works. I think we'd spoken about that last week, how we'd like to see Sadlier and Smith. Sadlier in lieu of Theo. I think Sadlier, when he first came from Bolton, he was a good deputy. He stood in well for Smith, so we didn't miss Smith badly. Like there wasn't a huge lacking in the side. Yeah. Obviously, Smith is a different player. We missed him. But I think Sadlier, for his part and what he did, was really good. I feel for Ruel, though, because I feel that he could be in that forward position of the front 3. Maybe it's just I have a soft spot for him and can't see many of the faults. But, I think he deserved a starting spot, considering how industrious and how hard he works. And he's just a right place, right time guy.
Fair shout.
For you?
Yeah, to be fair, when I saw the lineup, I liked it. I was excited, like you were, to see what Smith and Sadlier can do within the same starting lineup. Everyone playing in their favourite position. So sometimes we've seen players move out of position to compensate in other areas, like Raw playing as the 10, Drinan playing as the right winger. Like this one, you looked at the team sheet and was like, yeah, actually that's everyone playing in their strongest position.
Yeah.
That I felt was a good characteristic to have. Also, good strength on the bench. I mean, and that's... You look at the bench and you go, right, that's a strong bench, but I also noticed that no Adam Thompson in the squad, no Shad Ogie in the squad, no Craig Clay in the squad. Dan Happy is obviously still out for his injury. Some big players missing. Phil Archibald obviously as well missing from injury, but that's still a strong bench. But I just thought, you've got McCartin over Adam Thompson and Ogie.
Yeah, why?
You've got Jordan Leyton in over Craig Clay. They might be injured, but that hasn't come to the fore if they are, because the questions haven't been asked. So I did raise an eyebrow or two when I saw the bench. I was like, where's Thompson gone? Where's Clay gone? Why's McCartin over Ogie? However, still a hell of a strong bench. Good attacking options with Sotiriou and Drinan. I know I take what you mean on board around Sotiriou, but the Sotiriou who comes on as a substitute sometimes around the 65th and the 70th minute.
It's stronger than starting.
Seems to be stronger than the starting Sotiriou for whatever reason. He's so a bit of a super sub. So I was quite happy. I was quite optimistic with that one.
We had quite a few tweets that came in about this team as well. Alpha2_O_Miga said, great to see Sadlier back in the team. He could make all the difference.
Yeah, certainly could. Baz out 73 said McCart on the bench over Ogie and Thompson. Not sure about that one, but other than that, strong as we could be without Archibald.
To your point as well. Len Chin 1 said, a decisive weekend for us and have to play like league leaders with our good team, but missing Theo. Must defend the long balls and prepare counter-attack at every opportunity. I expect the game to I expect an end-to-end game as we're eager for the win. As Carlisle haven't scored recently, don't give them the chances.
Len Chinchinwan must be a football coach somewhere, the way he writes his tweets. I'm intrigued to know what Len does. Rob Payne, 546429997 says, I just hope that if we are not losing, we don't make 5 changes and disrupt the performance.
Yeah,
Good
so
tweet.
Darren Pratley got the game underway in a very busy and expectant and probably slightly nervy E10.
Yes.
And after Carlisle's captain, Morgan Feeney, had to be replaced in the 7th minute through injury, we'll fast forward to the 10th minute then, and confusion between Rob Hunt and Darren Pratley saw Carlisle capitalise and win the ball. Sweeney then missed a pass between Carlisle players who were in on goal. McColeman's pass to Dennis, that Lawrence Vigouroux was able to block his shot, which then saw Carlisle win the first corner of the game that came to nothing.
So I think it's fair to say we weren't on it. I think in the first 10-15 minutes, I did good at there, in kind of that piece of play. It had a man overlap on the right and kind of were round the back of us, and Viggs does what Viggs does and made the save. So the first corner for the O's came in the 18th minute after some good work from our mate Paul Smith with a nicely worked routine, which eventually saw Idris El-Mazouni try a flick which went over the bar, but he was also offside, so wouldn't have counted anyway.
Absolutely. 27 minutes on the clock now, and another effort at goal for Carlisle after some nice skillful build-up play. Saw back in on goal, but Pratley managed to cover well. He conceded a corner in the process, sliding tackle to stop the block. Yeah, he did, and they did well to get in.
Yeah, certainly did. In the 31st minute, Paul Smith had the beating of Armour on the right-hand side. He done him, got basically taken out, I think it's probably fair to say, near the byline. Won a free kick that came to nothing. I thought it was a really nasty challenge there. He was down on the floor for like quite a while, literally just had his legs taken from under him, and in the melee that kind of followed from that challenge, Charlie Kelman got booked for having a bit of a tussle with a few Carlisle players.
He got shovey, didn't he? He shoved the first man, who I think committed the foul, and then when his teammate came to help support him, he's then shoved him, and then I think someone else has come over and he's shoved that guy as well. I think one of the Carlisle players, I can't remember who said it to me, said like that's three players, and the referee's just gone,
fair shout.
Which is fair. I understand, but like just don't get involved. Just go and support Paul, but like there's no need to start throwing arms about. But also just worth noting at this point, like we're at the half-hour point now, we've not had a single shot at goal yet.
Yeah, hadn't worked their keeper at all, had we?
No, but Vigouroux's had to make a save, but we haven't. It's very tight, very cagey. I get that.
Yeah.
My expectation was that we'd at least have had a shot on target by now.
Yeah, difficult one.
36 minutes on the clock then. First shot on goal for Orient. Following some messy build-up play which saw Pratley fire well over from distance, and 2 minutes later Carlisle had to make another change as Finn Back was replaced due to injury. Now he'd got through behind us. We haven't mentioned the other one for some reason. I forgot to put it in. He got in twice behind us. So I was really quite pleased to see him go off.
Yeah, obviously not ideal for them having two of their first teamers. I think one's first,
and they've got some injury problems as well.
Good for us then. 42nd minute, we came alive, created a good opportunity following some good football as George Moncur, who was looking lively in this one actually, or looking lively as the game went on, found some space on the left-hand side of the area. His cross shot was saved by Holly, and Carlisle cleared the danger, only for the ball to eventually come to Rob Hunt, and he tried a curler, but his one was well over the bar. 5 minutes of additional time went up on the board. In the first minute, Darren Pratley was booked for a foul about 20 yards outside the box. Free kick from Gibson going well wide. Yeah, good position from them there, but
dangerous to give away there.
Wasted a free kick there, thankfully. And just before the half-time whistle, some good build-up play from Jayden Sweeney, driving forward so as to create a good chance as an initial shot from Paul Smith was blocked. The ball came out to Kieran Sadlier, who fired high and over Holly's goal as a ref brought the first half to a close shortly after, with the teams going in goalless at half-time.
Absolutely. I thought it was a poor half from us, actually. I thought it was one shot on target, I think two, maybe three off target. Carlisle have had two on target, one off. I knew it would be a tight game, though, but I don't think we've been anywhere near where we can be. And I think that was a slight nervousness that I felt, and I'm sure others probably did as well. But I keep telling myself, like, they hadn't scored. That we've been drawing games. They've not been scoring in games.
This has got 3 games, have they?
This has got 0-0 written all over it.
Yeah.
But I just felt that they had the slight upper hand on us, that they'd had more attempts at our goal than we'd had at theirs, and made Vigouroux work more than we'd worked their keeper. It's fine, you get a shot off, you make the keeper save it. I've seen on the Football League show keepers fumbling through their arms and dropping it into the goal by accident.
It felt like it was calling out for a Portsmouth special. Sadly, it was not having the best of games, I think it's fair to say. He kind of wasted a few opportunities and didn't play the right pass. But Smith looked lively. You could tell they were scared of Smith every time he got the ball, and Kelman wasn't really getting much of the ball. So you felt if anything was going to happen, it would be for either Moncur, who was growing into the game more, or it was going to be a Paul Smith 30, 40 yarder, or it was going to take a massive bit of luck to get us in the lead at that point. But yeah, nervy. It did feel very nervy in the stands. We had one tweet at half time from Katie H. Com, who said, incredibly frustrating. You could see how much so in Smith's smacking of the ground at the end. More needed in the second half. We need those points.
Match attendance for this one was 8,714 with 1,177 away.
It's a good attendance.
For them, that is great because usually they're 200 or 300.
Such a mission as well. My sister lives like 40 miles from Carlisle. It's an absolute mission.
It's a long day.
Yeah, well played. Fair play to him. At half time, there was a sub for the O's as Darren Pratley was replaced by Jordan Brown. And the first attack of the second half was from Orient. In the first minute, after some decent build-up play, but Kieran, sadly, his cross didn't find a red shirt.
Yeah, we've started much the better side and more solid build-up play in the 49th minute. Saw Kieran Sadlier's shot spilled by Holy, who recovered to smother and get to Charlie Kelman's follow-up effort.
I think Sadlier maybe should have done better there. It's good position and he kind of hits it low, but right at Holy, and obviously Kelman can't get his shot away quick enough without Holy in there. I think Sadly may be disappointed when he looks back on that one today. 59th minute in, great build-up play on the right from Paul Smith. Saw his cross find George Moncur in the box. He trapped the ball and got a decent shot away as he drove one into the ground that was deflected wide by the arm of Holy. Made a pretty good save actually, decent save.
Yeah, 63 minutes, penalty shouts for the O's as Paul Smith surged into the box through the middle, was taken down. The referee was having none of it. George Moncur got booked for dissent as we rewarded a corner that came to nothing.
So a big penalty appeals from this one. I think there were a few tweets saying it was a blatant penalty. Having had the ability now to watch it back, I didn't think it was a penalty at the time.
No.
I don't think it's a penalty now watching it back. Obviously he slides and does take Smith out, but he wins the ball, and obviously Smith is so fast, so if he takes a nudge, he's flying down to the ground. But I think you've got to give Huntingdon fair dues there and go, he's actually a great tackle on Smithy.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I was fairly level with that, and I think that he's so quick that he just gets a little knock and he goes down because he's just quite light and he's quite rapid and he's quicker than like you said on the podcast last week. He one-on-one with the defender, he's quicker than
himself against
and
anyone,
he absolutely backs himself for it. So I think they probably it wasn't a penalty. I think that's probably, unfortunately, that's probably the right decision. 69 minutes on the clock, second Orient sub as Ruel came on to replace Kieran Sadlier.
Yep, so 71 minutes in, the O's came close to taking the lead as a Portsmouth shot from close range went just wide after a Rob Hunt cross into the box. I thought actually their defender does really well to put Smith off because the ball comes in and it's coming to Smith nicely, and suddenly one of the defenders looks like he's going to take Smith out, smack him, which I think just does enough to put Smith off, who doesn't hit the target there. But yeah, you could tell we were getting close to them and enjoying the possession now at this point in the game.
Yeah. 2 minutes later, the game-changing minute, the 73rd minute, as Royal Saturu got into a decent position out on the left of the Carlisle 18-yard box, received the pass quite well, controlled it, and he got his shot off that was twice deflected. It finally bounced off Mellish, looped into the air, travelled in slow motion. What seemed like it took forever to get into that, and I was fairly level with that as well. But it nestled beautifully in the corner of Holly's goal in the back of the net to put the O's 1-0 up, and the sense of tension relief around the ground was palpable.
It really was a great moment. Like you said, it in the ground, when you're watching on TV, the slow motion doesn't do it justice. Like in terms of, it doesn't feel like it when it's slow motion, but in the ground, it felt like the ball was like travelling in the air for ages before it dipped into the net. But yeah, you could sense the relief throughout the ground. Real good emotional celebrations on the ground as well when that went in. You could tell what a goal, how important that goal was. I also got to say, Charlie Kelman's going to get absolutely caned in this podcast, and he probably deserves to for 2 bookings. When you watch that goal back, a lot of it is down to Kelman, which no one has mentioned. But if anyone goes back and watches the goal after listening to this, Kelman's involvement in getting the ball to Satiru quickly and playing the right pass at the right time is something that obviously no one's going to mention
under the radar
because he's been sent off and he's the villain almost.
Great,
but Coleman, very important in that goal, and that is a very, very big goal in Leyton Orient season. So I've got to say, well done Coleman, well done to Tiriu, who will just basically shoot from anywhere, right?
Yeah,
it's not a natural shooting angle. The shot he takes on, it obviously takes
with players in the way,
2 deflections. But I think if that's a Dryden or maybe even a Coleman, they probably aren't looking to shoot from that angle. They're probably looking for an Archibald if he's on the pitch, or a Monker or a Smith. But Tiriu always looks down, looks up to see where the net goal is, and then takes it on. And I think we said earlier, when you're top of the league, they go in for you. Unfortunately, that's what's happened. But yeah, amazing goal, brilliant to see.
Yeah, totally agree with you. 76 minutes on the clock. The O's were reduced to 10 men as the aforementioned Charlie Kelman ended up picking up his second yellow card after a nasty, late, and I'm going to say unnecessary tackle on Mellish.
I think I have to agree with you there. No need for it. The ball was long gone by the time Kelman slides into it.
And it's so far out.
And he's on a booking. You've got to think, if I'm on a booking, the last thing I need to be doing is making a silly sliding
Rush
tackle.
of blood to the
so
head, wasn't it?
really disappointing there. And it meant, obviously, for the last 15-20 minutes, we had to play with 10 men, which isn't ideal. But yeah, and it also means Kelman misses some forthcoming games. And, you know, we've got a number of games now in a short space of time. He might not be able to get back into that side now. Say if, you know, whoever takes the number 9 shirt or that position does well
and Drinan,
on Friday or the following Monday throughout the week, Kelman might not get back into that starting lineup. So yeah, big error there from Charlie.
Absolutely.
79th minute in, double sub for the O's in reaction to that sending off. Our third and fourth of the game as Aaron Drynan and Jordan Leyton came on as Paul Smith and George Moncur made way for them.
85 minutes, hearts in mouth for the home fans after a mix-up in our defending saw Mellish in on goal. He rounded Lawrence Vigouroux, and with the goal open, completely open, he side-footed it towards the net. Actually, it was more across the 6-yard box than at the net. But thankfully, Super Omar Beckles was there to clear the ball away.
What a moment. I mean, that was typical Orient, right? Like, we gave away possession, and I don't even want to go back to who the misunderstandings between, but 2 of our players look at each other, opens up, Mellish is in, takes it round Viggs, and I think, again, maybe gone under the radar a bit, Viggs actually touches the ball, which puts Mellish off his run, which is why he hits it at a weird angle and doesn't hit it cleanly or with as much pace as what he would like to. A very important touch there.
It's a trickle, isn't it?
It was Vigouroux. It's literally like a minimal touch he gets on it, but he kind of puts Mellish off his run. And Beckles, I've got to say fair play to Beckles, who reads it superbly and is in the right place at the right time to make that clearance. And it's what you want your captain to do. Josh Coulson done it a couple of times when we won National League, read the game and done a few goal line clearances in big games.
Big moments.
And Beckles doing the same,
That was a massive, massive moment. 88 minutes on the clock. The aforementioned Omar Beckles, having done so much good to keep us in the game.
Rubbish Beckles.
He was booked. Get him off. He was booked for a foul a few yards outside our box. Vigouroux saved the follow-up shot from Gibson in the resulting free kick.
He did. So the board went up, gasps around Brisbane Road as 6 minutes.
I expected 6 minutes.
We all thought it would be 5, so when it was 6, I had to chuckle there. We were counting down the minutes. Emily was with me, so obviously you got the scoreboard now. So I was like, 81, 82, 80, like counting down. But he doesn't scoreboard when he gets to 90, he doesn't count down. It's just +6, which is funny. So 6 minutes went up. We had a free kick pumped into their opposition box from Vigouroux, who did take a bit more time than necessary and found himself in the referee's book.
And he couldn't understand why. I saw him looking at the fourth official, was like, what's going on? Why am I being booked? And with nothing further to report, after lots of gamesmanship throughout the final minutes, I mean, we were really...
Got to do what you got to do, right?
Playing that one to the nth degree.
Although, I've got to say though, we did defend it well. So Tiriu, in particular, made a few runs back to win the ball and win throw-ons when they might have gone against us, and prevent corners when they might have been corners. So I think we defended it really well, and managed it well. And I think Tiriu, especially, I've not seen that before from Tiriu. I've seen Drynan do it a lot, and I know how much Richie likes Drynan for his work rate and pressing. You don't normally say that from Tiriu. I've got to say again, Tiriu done some really good defensive work in that 6 minutes.
It's all needed because we're down to 10 men, so we couldn't leave a man up. We had to.
Yeah, good point.
For one of their corners, we had all 10 back in the box. We had no one to counter, so we would have had to have long balled it out and just cleared it. That's why we were just looking to launch the ball out so we could just get out the box. So with nothing further to report, as I say, after lots of gamesmanship throughout the final minutes, the referee ended the game with the O's picking up 3 points with a vital 1-0 win as rocking all over the world bled out across Brisbane Road, with the players and management taking their lap of honour in front of the adoring home fans, celebrating the win with dreams of promotion very realistic.
Almost here. So after the match, Dave Victor spoke to Richie Wellens. This is quite a long interview, so we're not going to play all of it. It's 8 minutes. It's been available on YouTube for at least 24 hours. So we're just going to play the opening 2 minutes as Richie gives quite a good summary of the match and his thoughts. Obviously, a lot of Orient fans and a lot of tweets will say the performance wasn't great. It's interesting to hear Richie's views on the performance because I think he was fairly happy with it. So here's a bit of an opening gambit of what Richie Wellens said to Dave Victor. Once we get ourselves off mute.
I think in the first 20 minutes it was a bit nervy from both teams. But when you're trying to play like the way that we play compared to the way that they play, to be fair, they passed it a little bit today. But it can always be a little bit nervy trying to do it our way. So it was a little bit sketchy first 20 minutes. I thought then we grew into the game, had some really nice passages of play. But then I think from 45 minutes to the sending off, I thought we were brilliant. Brave, passed the ball, took risks at times. But I thought the players take all the plaudits today. They're outstanding. We set up a game plan for him. And when you drive up, when you leave your own house at 4:30 in the morning, you get to train and you drive back to Bradford, you're getting in late, and they put a performance in terms of the effort like that, then it's so rewarding. I just think the players were different class.
And it was a game where they had to show character, and they did.
Every game you have to show character, and I think sometimes it's more difficult because people have gone, they've let a lead slip a couple of times. But that happens when teams go 1-0 down or 2-0 down. They have nothing to lose. They come up with different systems. They throw bodies forward, and all of a sudden it can be chaos at times. And you just need to adapt. I think we in the last few weeks we have gone a little bit passive in terms of dropping that extra 5 or 6 yards, which is understandable. But I think today, even when at times with 10 men we have to go a little bit deeper, but I thought our line was good. I thought it was aggressive, and we limited Carlisle to. Before the sending off, I can't remember having one chance, and then had the chance at the end where Hunty's played a square pass and there's a bit of a miscommunication, and obviously the lad goes Brown Viggs and Bex clears it. So apart from that, we was pretty comfortable at the end, but you know that they've got some threats in the attacking third. Armour put some good deliveries in. They've got 4 strikers, whether it's 2 that start and 2 that come on, different pairing. They've got some good players.
So that was a very happy Richie Wellens there speaking to Dave Victor after the game. Like we said, the whole interview can be found on the club's YouTube channel. And as always, a massive thank you to Dave for sending over that interview. Massively appreciated.
Very grateful to you, as always. So the league table then, that 3 points means we remain top of League 2. We've now played 38 games. We've won a whopping 22 of them. We've drawn 11. And we've lost 5. We've got 25 plus 25 on the goal difference, and we now sit on 77 points. So that is just over 2 points per game by average.
Amazing. As most of you who are listening to the podcast will know, lots of big fixtures in League 2 yesterday in the battle of second versus third. Northampton played Stevenage at Northampton. They played out a 1-1 draw, meaning Northampton now are in second place on 70 points. So Northampton 7 points behind the O's, but they've played a game more. So amazing position to be in. Yeah. Stevenage are in third place on 68 points. They're 9 points behind us, but they've played the same amount of games as us. So obviously games to be made up there. Carlisle stay in fourth place after we've beat them. So they are 66 points. They're 11 points behind us now, and they've played 1 game more. So it seems like, and without putting the curse on it, that we've cemented our place within the top 3. However, we know how quickly things can change in football, but massive game, massive victory. League table looks great.
It's so tight around the playoffs.
Yeah,
but it's literally a question of 3 points, and then you look at Mansfield in 8 on 61. They could creep in if we beat Salford and they win. They leapfrog, and Bradford, if they lose, then they could be it's just such an open.
Do you know what? It's
end of the table.
So nice to not really care about it.
Correct.
To go, well, you guys can fight it out. We're top.
We're all right.
We're all right. Thank you. So, yeah, obviously, there are going to be twists and turns in the last 8 games, but any other League 2 club would bite your hand off to be where Leyton Orient are. So, Bit of Legende, your views on yesterday?
Yeah, I keep it quite short, really. I didn't think it was a great game. I saw it slightly differently to Richie, but completely respect that, and others as well.
Yeah.
But I think having reviewed things and listened back to our review of it and the highlights, we were solid. We weren't spectacular, but we did what we needed to do. Did my blood pressure no good whatsoever,
Yeah.
because I was a bit nervous as well. I thought, don't lose your home games and draw your away, and you should win your home games and draw your away, and you pretty much be there or thereabouts. One bit of luck from Royal's shot that's ended up winning us the game. Very frustrating at times. I thought it was a bit hard to watch, but I think Carlisle will feel quite hard done by. I think they were worthy of a point. I don't think there was much between the sides, and it's just taken a huge amount of luck to go our way and not theirs. If Viggs doesn't get that touch,
of course,
to push Mellish an inch further wider and out of stride, then he's probably equalising. So from that, and there was a couple of communication errors in our defence, but listening to the Carlisle manager as well, they could sense the nervousness around the stadium as well. They brought a record crowd,
amazing numbers,
with them, 1,177 people. I know there's a London group of Carlisle fans, so. But fair play, they've come and supported their team in numbers. But game 38 this far in the season, I have to say, for me, it's really not now about playing pretty football. That's great to watch, right? It just isn't.
Yeah.
It's about winning.
Yeah, of course
it's about getting 3 points on the board, and it's about making sure that if you're not winning, we're not losing, quite frankly, and we're doing that. So it's not about watching pretty football. If we have to lump it forward and go a bit route one at times, that's fine, because the pitches aren't great or because we've spotted something. If it means we're changing formation because we can push their fullback slightly higher up that gets us up, that's also fine. It doesn't really matter anymore. I think people get hung up on how well we've played in previous games when the pitches were better, when we hadn't been sussed out and so on. But I think that now it's about just winning. Ugly, pretty, whatever it takes, really. We're 7 points clear of Northampton, as you say, who are in second with a game in hand. We're 11 points clear of now fourth place Carlisle. We've got a difficult Easter fixture list, but we need to keep positive and focused on others around us, because our destiny is in our hands. Largely, by and large, like you just said, don't really care about the playoffs.
No.
Let them fight that out. We're good. We're 7 points clear, game in hand, and we're averaging 2 points a game, which, if you'd have said at the start of the season, that's 92 points over 46 games. Would have bitten your hand off to be at game week 38 and be where we are. Absolutely ripped your arm off for it. Gutted I didn't put a bet on us to win, or to be promoted now.
Yeah.
But that's the risk that you take. So yeah, fantastic. Overall, very happy. Yes, I would like to see pretty football. Yes, I would like to see our attacking players do more and us defend better and not have these heart in mouth moments. Would like it to be much easier, but quite frankly, it's League 2 football, and we just need to get over ourselves and stop thinking that we're Barcelona.
Nicely put. Yeah, for me, it felt like a massive win. That full-time whistle was just a massive sense of relief, and you could tell there's a lot of emotional people in the South. In terms of that, it felt like it was done. Like it felt
massive tension.
Felt like a big moment, that full-time whistle. But we're 14 unbeaten now at home. So I didn't realise that. And there was a few tweets, I think, from big accounts who said they're 14 unbeaten at home. So Richie, has made Brisbane Road a fortress. And like you said, I don't really care how we win as long as we win. It's not about playing the pretty football. It's about getting the results and getting the 3 points. I think fortunate, yes. Lucky, no. Because I think you make your own luck. So to score, Royal's got to be taking a shot from an angle which he shouldn't be taking a shot from. But then he's got to get the deflection. So yeah, fortunate, yes, for me. Lucky, no. I thought Beckles has been superb since he's come back into the team a couple of weeks ago, obviously following his suspension. I think he's been an absolute rock. I thought, he obviously clears one off the line. You can tell what Turns is listening to him all the time. You can tell Beckles is communicating to every player on that pitch. Got to say, Miz, for someone who's fasting and must be absolutely knackered, probably the guy who covered the most ground on the pitch. Obviously, we don't get the player stats. I would imagine Miz's stats are absolutely through the roof. Well, I'm nothing super sub. I know you've said you would start him. At the moment, I think bring him on 65, 70 minutes against a tiring defence who don't know what he's quite going to do. I think he's a different player when he comes on as a sub. Disappointed in Kelman. Like I said, we might not see him in an Orient shirt again now, because he might be able to get his place back in the squad or the team now if Drynan or Royal can take advantage of it. Sadly, I thought it was disappointing, really. I think it's done well for us so far, but I think the last couple of games has not been on it. And you can see how much we miss Theo as well. It's really important to try and get Theo back for Friday. And I think Richie, in his post-match, kind of alludes to how important Theo is. So it'd be interesting whether we get Theo back for Friday. Another clean sheet now. And, unbelievable statistics coming out from the clean sheets. And we'll mention clean sheets a bit later on. And our positives and negatives. Wellens seemed annoyed at the full-time whistle. There's a few tweets about people in the West Stand, him having a confrontation with two fans in the West Stand. He seemed annoyed. When he does his walk round, he's normally smiling, full of beans, clapping the ground. He didn't clap, unless I missed it, and I may well have done. I can only speak for when he comes to the South Stand. He was talking deep in conversation with Pratley for most of it. He acknowledged the South Stand, but it wasn't the normal kind of gratitude back that he normally gets. So when, obviously, we filmed it, and I thought there's no point in filming Wellens because he's not into it. So I filmed Beckles, who was kind of interacting more with the crowd. I thought that was a bit strange Wellens, but obviously I've got more context to it now, knowing that he kind of had a boil with a few supporters behind the West Stand. So I guess that's disappointing from that. But look, almost there now. As we've always said, just have to keep calm. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Not the best performance, not a game that you'll remember for the 90-minute experience, although you may well remember the emotions you were feeling when that goal went in. Who cares, man?
Life is a roller coaster.
All right, Ryan Keegan.
Yeah, your views came into us in huge amounts. So thanks very much indeed to everybody who got in touch with us through our social media accounts. And again, we're going to read a selection of them. But just because we're reading these, it doesn't necessarily mean that we agree with them. El Kawado kicked us off this week. He said it was never in doubt. Not that was not me the other week saying we definitely lose to Carlisle. 11 points clear of fourth with a game in hand and only 8 games remaining. Supporting Orient should come with a health warning.
It absolutely should be. Interesting to check everyone's Fitbit stats. Watching at 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Orient Fan TV said massive win. One step closer towards promotion. 11-point gap to fourth with a game in hand. Hard to say who gets man of the match. Well, very impressive when he came on. But I'm going for Beckles just for that clearance towards the end of the game.
Brant Rucker SC said Beckles off the line in the second half. It really seemed like Carlisle would score, but then he was. Right place, right time. Just doing his job? No, that felt heroic. What a day.
I think that's a moment that will live in that goal line clearance will be remembered more than what the goal will be when I think we look back on this season as a pivotal moment because that was a massive moment. Yeah, real CJ Fleck said, would it be sacrilege to suggest that the Beckles clearance was a moment of absurd luck, quite like a certain game where a goalkeeper did kick-ups? It does take luck sometimes, absolutely.
It really does. Good point, well made. Painting Orient said each season has a true backs to the wall situation, and that was absolutely it versus 11 men. And a ref giving us no breaks whatsoever. Beckles' clearance could be the moment of the season. Such composure from Brown in the second half. Sign him up, Orient.
Jordan Brown had a very good second half yesterday.
Who's always a solid 7 or 8 out of 10, or if not 9.
Brilliant. Obviously out of contract, so I imagine we are talking to him, although nothing's been alluded to.
Think so.
I'd imagine. So Dan Alton 2590. I think it's on his honeymoon. So Dan, hope you have a nice honeymoon. So at this stage of the season, performances do not matter one bit. Results do. And with what happened at Northampton, this 3 points is about as big as it gets. But the job is obviously not done. Another tough game at Salford coming up next. Need to keep going.
Yeah, Boatsy said, what a great result today is. What a huge performance with results going for us. We really have made the most of it. We're on our way and it won't be long till we can cement promotion and our place in League One.
Richie J. Bourne said nervy, really nervy. Big credit to Real. Came on late but did superb. Helped with a goal and class when down to 10 men.
Orient Meat Pie said absolutely huge result. It doesn't matter how you get it. Results are all that matter now. Northampton and Stevenage drawing was also huge.
Yeah, 6 biz. Horrible game to watch but well managed. Barely looked in trouble. Job done. Another 3 points and on to the next one. All about the points. Doesn't really matter how we get them.
Orient_Ed said, to say that I nearly had a heart attack is an understatement. Did not see us getting anything today, but a lucky goal gave it to us. Even though we did our best to give Carlisle an equaliser, Monks was very good. Omar was outstanding, but Kelman let us down. We're so close now.
Yeah, Ed, I could see the emotion in you at the full-time whistle. I hope you've settled down now, mate, and are having a nice cup of tea and relaxing as you're listening to this. O's Van Basing said massive win. Last 15 minutes have taken years off my life. Well managed though, and to be frank, went into subs were very good. Fullbacks were excellent, and the ref wasn't. So a lot has been made, obviously, of one into subs against Colchester and against Hartlepool over the last fortnight. I think yesterday, it's fair to say, he's got his subs.
Spot on.
Yeah,
spot on. Steve Chaplin 4, very scrappy game, reflecting the importance of the game. Not helped by an overly fussy referee. It felt that Carlisle had settled for a point, but a bit of luck and some desperate defending at the end got us over the line. Stupidity though from Kelman, bearing in mind how the ref was.
Yeah, Dave Brew 47976911 said fantastic from the boys to see that out at the end. Beckles, Viggs, Sweeney, Brown, Hunt, and all the rest. Well done. We're almost there. Up you O's. Good points about, we've not really mentioned Sweeney or Hunt. Again, two very solid performances in the wing back wide situations. They both were excellent. Again, gone under the radar, I guess, because Rell's goal, Beckles' goal line clearance, Viggs another clean sheet, Monker's roll, Smith's roll. Hunt and Sweeney were both very, very good.
Very solid, yeah. Molly Folly 2019 said, not a day for anything other than to say magnificent result. Massive 3 points, fantastic second half, plus other results were perfect. The O Stars have aligned today for a change.
Wow.
Is that the same account that we always read out?
Molly Folly, me and you in the centre circle when we get promotion, hugging it out, mate. And
well, hold on, that's just one tweet. One swallow don't make a summer.
Tom D. Simmons _Tom said the 3 points that clinches promotion place, I suspect. Jordan Brown coming on in the second half was the turning point. A more dynamic and energetic player was badly needed.
Yeah, I was just joking with you, Darren, about that tweet. Mr. _T82 said, great day really with the results. I thought it was a really good performance from Orient too. Thought Carlisle played well throughout and we had to be on top of our game. We probably created the best chances and deserved our goal. It was nervy at the end but saw it through well.
We absolutely did. Apostolos Andre 9 to the deflection for our goal and then Carlisle missed an open goal. So we finally get a bit of luck going our way. For Idris was absolutely outstanding and my clear man of the match. It was interesting because the sponsors man of the match was George Monker. And I think Idris, as I said, I don't have the stats, but I imagine he covered the most amount of ground of any player. And he's
fasting as
and
well.
But his ball control and his temperament, he always makes the right pass.
Correct.
He does not lose possession. He does not lose you the ball. He doesn't give the ball away.
No, he doesn't get turned. He doesn't get his pocket picked.
It was just at points he was just running in
circles around them. Yeah,
literally running in circles around them.
I was thought that as well. I was like, how incredible! And I was there yesterday with two pals that don't normally go to Orient. One's a Spurs fan, one's an Arsenal fan, and I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Like this is League Two that you're seeing. 100%. It's incredible. John W 999 said, "Oh my God, that was stressful. Thanks to Kelman's stupidity. What absolute heroes those on the pitch at the end were. We're 90% of the way towards promotion. Hard to see any way of screwing it up from here." Even for Orient.
Yeah, even for Orient. Ben Porter, CT, said much better performance than in the last couple of matches. Champions have to win ugly, and we did that today. Beautiful to see how the whole squad is willing to work for each other. Richie is turning into an Orient legend, and League One is so close. You can almost taste League One football.
Yeah.
Coming to Redburn Road.
Matt J. Nash said, massive win. The only questions remaining now this season are, which game will we seal promotion? Will it be Sutton or possibly Crewe seem most likely? Will we win the title? Will West Ham get relegated?
Too much of a dream that will happen in the second
Let's just
season.
concentrate on us, man.
Absolutely. May 8, XYL said season-defining performance and result. Dug in hard from start to finish. Wasn't our best performance, but effective. Kept them out, showed heart, grinded out 3 points. No thanks to the ref. He may as well have been in a Carlisle shirt.
Great statement here from Len M4 next. On this day, even the doubters left that ground believing it's happening.
Great tweet there, Len. Lovely done. Daniel _D44. Massive win. Bit lucky for the goal, but we deserved it. Even if it was a bit of a scrappy game. We dug in deep, went down to 10 men. Great to see Monker hitting some form. And Sweeney, superb again. Brown was great when he came on as well. 3 more wins.
Yeah, Nick Clark Ailes said Idris was immense, especially since he's fasting. Viggs in the last 10 minutes was so calm. Hunt was solid too. Well done, O's. The crowd were excellent in the second half.
It was loud in the south. It felt loud all around the ground.
Yeah.
Les LK52. Couple of observations. He said Rob Hunt's performance seems to have gone under the radar. Mr. Dependable. But as for the ref, I believe that sometimes refs try so hard not to be a homer that they end up being an awayer, trying to show they're neutral. More cards than Moonpig.
Good one, Les. Samuel LOFC 97. Good tweet here. Bringing Brown on completely changed the game. Fans in the West Stand, though, especially further down from me, need to stop getting on the team's back when the ball goes sideways. It seemed to annoy Wellens as well, which doesn't surprise me. Support the team. It's got us this far.
I can't believe fans are trying to engage with Wellens about tactical analysis.
Like they're some expert. Like there was one guy, there was a couple of guys who were shouting like, "Go long! You're going to cost us this game if you don't do this." And Richie just turned around and put his fingers on his head and told him to shush. It's like, who are these people telling the manager who's got us to the top of the league, telling him what to? Who are these people? Why are they?
If it's a manager you've got no faith in, I go, all right, fair enough. Or if you're
down near the
bottom of the league, you go, if your manager's top of the league. Yeah, I presume it happens at most other clubs as well, but obviously can't speak for them. Venomous 1983 said, now, that's a performance worthy of a top team. May not have always been pretty, but we ground out that result. The way the fans were at the end made it feel like something was happening and how close we are to getting over the line.
Vince Howard 73 said, what a result with a great defensive display to match. Thought Sweeney handled the pressure like an experienced pro. Also thought that was Monker's best game for a long time as he looked more of an attacking threat. Now I have to say, initially I was really disappointed with George Monker, but when I think about it and watch it back, the amount of times that he was trying to be creative and got us up the pitch and was dancing round and his possession, I have to agree, that was probably one of the best games. On reflection, when you kind of get out the moment, I think it was one of his best games for us.
He seems to understand a bit more now about the runs that Smith makes off him. So a lot of the time now he's getting the ball, he's either driving forward and looking to get out to Smith as quick as he can, or he's just using his twinkle toes.
It's only taken 38 games.
Mate, long may that continue though. Chris Coe, 566 807 99, comes up with a bit of a statement different from the rest. Says, I think it's grossly unfair to blame Kelman for stupidity. It's a passionate game. Adrenaline was running high. He never stopped running for the cause. Young player and will learn. I sometimes think some comments are from people who've never played the game at any level.
Mostly are. Great one, Chris. Good point. Well made. Sunshine LOFC said, big performance today. Massive result. Many gave great performances, and a special mention to Elmiz, who was fantastic on so many levels. It's now in touching distance for us, and 10 without loss tells its own story.
Yeah, I'm beaten in 10 now, where teams around us in all divisions are starting to lose their head. Sheffield Wednesday can't get a win for love or money. The Championship, apart from Championship's obviously Burnley and Sheffield United by the looks of it, but yeah, like you see teams who should win games who aren't winning games now because it's pressure time. Doyle _Hooper. So what a team performance. Elmiz everywhere. Beckles and Sweeney immense. Moncur has hit a bit of form. One in subs was spot on. Thought he spent too long entertaining a couple of voices in the West End who won't ever be happy. Goes on to say, this is one hell of a season. Let's enjoy it. Couldn't agree more.
Those two fans.
You can't enjoy it.
If you can't enjoy this,
you may as well not support a football team. Unless you want to go and support
Arsenal or Man
City.
Yeah. Hashtag Luke G said, biggest win of the season. Credit where it's due. Wellens was spot on with tactics and subs. Beckles' heroic clearance off the line was a season definer, but Viggs' touch to help put off the shot was also monumental.
It absolutely was. And the final word on Carlisle goes to Tommy Atkinson 6, who said, huge statement. Look at other results again this weekend with something like 11 clear of 4th with 24 points left to play for. Excuse my maths, but of us having played a game or two, the mountain is much higher for us to drop out of the top 3. Up the O's, done the hard way.
Absolutely. So do you agree or disagree with any of the tweets we've read out? Let us know what you think by tweeting us. We're at Orient Outlook. We're also on email if you're not on social media or don't use it much. We are orientoutlook@outlook.com. If you're on Instagram, check us out. We're Orient_Outlook_podcast. And we're also on Facebook. Just do a search for Orient Outlook Podcast.
Lovely stuff. So moving on into the Town and Country Harlow Prediction League update. So covering London, Essex and Hertfordshire, Town and Country Harlow estate agents are run by Orient season ticket holders and fans. Along with the podcast, have helped dozens of people move home. And the best bit is they offer all O's fans and staff a discount from their already competitive fees. So if you're thinking of selling your property or curious as to its value, you can save yourself a few £100. Keep it in your own family. Give them a call on 01279 883 444 or 07528 471 497, or you can contact the guys on Twitter. You can find them at T&C Harlow. So we did have a few correct predictions, Mr. Levy, for this one.
We did. Guy Incognito, Matty LOFC Evans, Miller President, Strop_O, Postman Pat 1965, That Tall O's Fan, PM 31970, East London Exile, And nice shot, Steve. Kudos to you all. You correctly predicted 1-0. Unfortunately, none of you correctly predicted that Mellish would get an own goal. So that means that top of the prediction league is as follows.
Yeah, so like the O's yesterday, That's All O's fan picked up some vital points to move him away from his competitors. So That's All O's fan is at 37 points now. I think it is done. I don't think anyone's going to catch him. Behind him, 11 points behind him, 26 points is O's fan basing. So O's fan basing needs at least 4 correct predictions from the final 8 games to knock that to O's fan off the top of the table. And on 25 points in third place, Nick_Clark99 and Steve Chapman in 4th. So thanks to everyone who has sent us in their predictions for yesterday. Huge amount and a great league to be part of. Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, absolutely. Sunday, the 2nd of April. Today, as we record this podcast, very quiet day at the club. No news to report, although we did run a couple of last-minute quick-fire Twitter polls to gauge your feelings on how you think we will finish in the league. We ran one poll that had 154 votes in just 1 hour, and 95% thought that Orient will get promoted this season. I think that's a fairly safe bet at this point, my opinion.
There's still a very nervous 5% who is still not willing to say yes, although they might think it, they're still not willing to press that button, I reckon. And our second one had 94 votes in 1 hour, and we asked you if you think the O's would win League Two, and 86% of you now think the O's will win the league.
That's champions, right?
That is champions. So we decided to do those on a whim. Might do a few more of those. It's quite good fun actually doing it in an hour spell. Just go unannounced.
Assuming Elon Musk doesn't change.
Assuming the algorithms of Twitter don't change, depending on what you read. Hopefully the Twitter polls will still be here this time next week. So thanks to everyone who's voted in our Twitter poll. Great fun.
Absolutely. So let's wrap this up then. We're just 55 minutes now, so we'll keep this as a quick one.
Yes.
Fantasy football update. Well done, Stuart Coleman. You are top of our fantasy football league. You've got 1,971 points. Just ahead of Daniel Clark in second on 1,909 points. Steve is up to 209th place now out of 355 players. Well done, Mr. Nussbaum.
Yeah, I'm in the mid-table along with the other mid-table lot. So positives and negatives. I'll do the positives this week. So I've got 3 positives and 1 negative. First up, we won. So first time we've done a double over Carlisle as well since the 2013-2014 season. And if you look back, you'll remember that we beat them 5-1 away on the opening day of that amazing season and then battered them at home 4-0 in the reverse fixture. So lovely to get the 3 points and do the double over Carlisle. Secondly, another clean sheet. That's our 21st of the season, and that is the most recorded in a league campaign for the O's in over 53 years. So in our lifetime, which is an amazing feat. So well done to Vigouroux and the entire team, actually, to be fair. And the last positive, as it has been for the last couple of weeks and months, we are still top of League Two. So what a place to be. Negatives, Mr. Lee?
The only one this week is obviously Charlie Kelman's red card. The injury list is now whittling itself down to just 2, although we're expecting them to come back, so no real negatives there. We've won the game, still top, lots to be positive about. Yeah, so the only negative really is Charlie Kelman's red card. So let's move on then to the Town and Country Harlow Hero of the Week.
So we decided to take this one to Twitter. We nominated the following players for their performances against Carlisle. We could have obviously done more, but obviously Twitter polls, you can only select up to 4. Shout out for Jordan Brown, who actually, a lot of tweets about him, and thinking more about it, actually had a really good second half.
He did.
Rob Hunt as well was really solid. Richie talks about him in his post-match, really good half. Could have easily nominated Sweeney as well, but like we said, only 4. So we nominated Omar Beckles, Idris El Mazouni. Oh, we did nominate Rob Hunt, to be fair. Yeah, absolutely. Going mental. And George Moncur.
Yeah, so after 272 votes, the winner, with just over half the votes, so 51% vote of the vote, is Captain Marvel, Omar Beckles.
Yeah, well
done, Omar Beckles. Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. So next week's fixtures, it's the Easter weekend fixtures up next as the League Two season starts to reach its conclusion. So firstly, we're off to Salford on Friday the 7th of April. Salford are 7th in League Two, occupying the final playoff place. They drew 1-1 away to Stockport on Friday night in their derby game. The last 6 come into this, they've won 3, drawn 2 and lost 1, so not in a bad vein of form at the moment, are Old Salford. Then on Easter Monday, 11th of April, we host Harrogate Town. Harrogate Town are 20th in League Two. They also played on Friday night. They got a 1-1 draw to Tranmere, which isn't a bad result actually. Their last 6, they've won 2, drawn 3 and lost 1, so they're not in a bad vein of form either. But 2 vital games for the O's. Mathematically, could be done against Harrogate if results go our way and we take maximum points. Obviously, we'll know more about that after.
That's a promotion. That means we won't end up in the playoffs, whatever happens elsewhere, mathematically speaking, and that's what matters at this stage of the season.
We will see.
So, a sponsorship reminder, don't forget, get in touch with the team at Carroll Langley Florists. John and the experienced team that he's got there are waiting for your call on 0208 529 4130. If you've got a special event coming up that you're looking for some flowers for, he and the team are the best in the business. You can contact them also through social media at Carroll Langley E4 or at Essex Biz on Twitter. They're also on Instagram. Just check out Carroll Langley Florist. They're on Facebook, Carroll Langley Florist, all one word.
So that is it, and thanks for joining us for episode 316. It's the final stages of the season, and April now is a huge month. 8 cup finals ahead of us. We should all feel proud and positive about the position we find ourselves in, top of the league, 7 points clear of second with a game in hand, and 11 points clear of fourth with a game in hand. What a superb season it has been. These 8 games won't be easy. The first hurdle, Salford away on Good Friday, and then Harrogate on Easter Monday, which could make us mathematically promoted if results go our way. And we hope to be talking about 2 wins in our next episode, which will be in your ears on the night of Easter Monday.
It certainly will. So if you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe. It really does help. It does make a huge difference. We'd be really grateful to you. Give the podcast a 5-star rating if you feel inclined. Give us a review on whatever platform you get your podcast from. If you're listening on SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, add us to your favourites, and that way you'll have all the podcasts available as soon as we upload them. Subscribing to us really does help because there's a lot of media attention on us at the moment, so it really would be great. We'd be grateful to you. We do this for free, so as a reciprocation, we would be really, really grateful to you. We're also on smart speakers, Fan Hub app, so listening to us couldn't be any easier. And likewise, if you've got an older relative, a loved one, or an Orient chum who you think will like the podcast, grab their phone, download it for them, send it to them in your WhatsApp groups. We'd be really grateful. Pass the pod on.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll be back, like we said, with episode 317 on Bank Holiday Monday with all the information and views that you could ever need. So we look forward to hearing from you. And as always, keep calm, stay safe, have a great week, have a great Easter, or have a great Passover, have a great whatever you're celebrating.
If you're fasting as well, we hope you're fasting well.
Yeah, we hope that's all going well. And don't forget to listen to the Orient Outlook podcast.
Yeah, it's happy Passover as well. Up the O's.
Why is this season different from all other seasons? You got to win the league, boy.